Hi, my name is Arne Pedersen from Awareness and Health. I'm a hypnotherapist, an energy healer, and a mindfulness teacher. And today's episode, it's working on the main theme of working through letting go, understanding unresolved trauma, how to move through that and heal that. In today's episode, it's talking about the difference between thriving and surviving. We can get stuck in just surviving in life, just coping at best, where we're just coping, where there's this sort of subtle sense of stress or tension or resistance within us. We can just feel that, where there's just something deep down we can't explain, that life just doesn't feel quite right. We're not fully comfortable with life, we're not fully happy, we're not fully fulfilled. And this creates a state of sort of constant tension where we can get caught in this state of just surviving, where our sympathetic nervous system is triggered on, or at least on yellow alert, where we're always sort of looking around and noticing and seeing things that really don't bring us joy, things that we don't want, things that aren't working out, things that are uncomfortable. And we can get caught in that place of coping. And our system gets really taxed when we're stuck in that state of surviving. And we may get used to that and be able to get a lot of stuff done, really push ourselves at work or at different places of life when we can really just power through things. People that perhaps, a doctor who in medical school, they just pushed hours and hours and hours without any sleep hardly at all and did all of these hours of work. They ended up going into a coping mode, just coping, just pushing themselves, not really listening to their body, not getting the sleep they need. Now, surviving and thriving are very different. Thriving is a completely different system where we're in a state of ease, we're in a state of flow. Everything is balanced, where we're getting enough sleep and where we're feeling at ease with life. We look around and we're in a state of acceptance. All of our available energy then is able to go to growth and regeneration and creativity. And when we're in survival mode, our energy is really going to survival, a perceived threat. Now, how this relates to the main theme of unresolved trauma, how to move through it and heal it, is that with unresolved trauma, sometime in the past, something happened, a traumatic event, something that was too much to feel. We didn't have the know-how to move through it. It was too much emotion. We didn't have the support to move through it, say. And so our body essentially created a coping behavior, a survival mechanism that disconnected us from feeling that energy, that emotion that was just too much. And so it's there still unresolved in our psyche because we weren't able to experience it. So it's stuck there on some level. It got pushed down, it got pushed away, it got repressed. And so what happens is currently then something happens and we end up triggering into this old energy, and we end up, because it's still there, we see partially through the lenses of this old trauma that's still there, and we're sort of looking through life as though the threat is still there when we get triggered into that old feeling. And so our subconscious mind begins to kind of look subtly for the old dangers as though the experience is still happening, because it is in a way. The energy is unresolved, it's still there, so the energy is still happening within us. And so our subconscious mind has no concept of time. It could be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Our subconscious has no concept of time, so it could seem as though it's happening right now. And we perceive something, we just have this feeling of stress within us all of the time because this energy is still stuck. Now, whenever we get triggered with that, that's a really good opportunity to notice, okay, I get pulled away, how does it feel? It doesn't feel good. We feel tense and tight. And it feels really good to be in a state of ease. And maybe we're not used to what homeostasis is, but when we are in that state of thriving, our body then is able to reorient the energy and put it towards all of our body functions, towards sleeping, toward recuperation, toward creative thinking and positive thinking. And so if we create an awareness practice, a simple meditation on our breathing, and we practice every day and just practice at the same time, whatever emotions come up, we start to get used to them. We just feel them, breathe into them, experience them, allow our breathing, just feel the feeling sensations in our body. That's actually saying that it's safe. Because when it's not safe, we don't have time to assess, oh, how am I feeling? How's my breathing? We don't have time to sit. we're essentially focusing on the danger, on surviving. And so when we're actually allowing and accepting our environment, and we're allowing and accepting what happens in life, when we're allowing and accepting what we're feeling in our body, that's actually saying to the subconscious mind that it's safe. And it turns off fight or flight, and it turns on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is homeostasis. And that will help us every time we do it. When we get triggered, then we practice feeling emotions. So when we get triggered into the old unresolved trauma or stress, we can then breathe into it right in the spot, because we're practiced. We can breathe into it, we can feel it. And that'll help us to move through and resolve that old energy that's stuck in us that keeps coming up. And then we'll find that we have this emotional confidence, and building confidence so that anything that we do in life, whatever the emotions that come up, we'll then feel confident that we're able to handle and move through it, just by this practice of following our breathing every day, taking 5-10 minutes a day, just doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And next week, I'm going to talk about a little next step from this, that the door is wide open. When we have these triggers to some old unresolved emotional feeling, the door to the emotional program in our subconscious mind is wide open in that trigger, and we can then objectively walk ourselves through it and then recalibrate the fight or flight response when we assess that it's actually safe, and we can bring that response down to a more appropriate level. And so I'm looking forward to that next week. And as well, on my website, if you want to get some help and some tools to start this kind of an awareness practice, in my top header there is a free hypnosis sampler. There's a sign-up box in the top header to let go and move through anxiety and stress. So that'll help you connect with your body and do this awareness practice. So sign up for that, and let me know what you think of that. Let me know what you think of this video. Share it, pass it along, and if you like it, like it. And so for now, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.